Yo, what's going on? Let me jump right into it. So today, first let me share my screen. Share. Boom. Okay, so today's going to be a half day in the market. So the market is expected to close around 1, or is it 12? I can't remember. 12 or 1 o'clock. And then it's closed tomorrow for the holiday. And but Tesla, Tesla's crazy. So we'll go ahead and check out the news, and then I'll jump into my strategy. This won't be a long video, so let's take a look. Tesla is up. Like I said, it's up 0.63%. Closed at 315 yesterday, and it's up to 317. So that's pretty good. I was. I'll talk about the trade that I was in yesterday and what happened, and then talk about my strategy coming into today. So let's take a look at red folder news real quick. We did have some red folder news at 1:30 a.m. Coming into the market. It doesn't appear that affected the markets. Let me see. Let me refresh. Yeah, we gapped up. Yeah, we gapped up when the market opened at 3. Did come back and retest the pre-market, but we're back up, reclaiming the price level of 620 and change. Let's see what happened in Qs. They typically do the same thing. Yep, same. We haven't yet reclaimed the pre-market high yet, but looks like we're headed in that direction. So yeah, with that said, we do have some more red folder news coming in at 7:30. When I'll just have to check and see how this impacts the market, and then we have some more red folder news at 9 a.m. Let's see. And in other news, let's take a look and see. Now, the first thing I did want to talk about was the fact that Tesla did have declining deliveries reported, um, a 14% decline or drop year over year. So yeah, we did have a slight pop Wednesday. That's what I said. Like yesterday, we did have a slight pop. Competition keeps pressure on. Yeah. Um, the EV maker is feeling the squeeze from surging competition. I don't know about that. Um, I don't. I'm not so sure about that. But let's see. Production outpaces deliveries. All eyes are on July 23rd when Tesla will host its earnings call. So this is what we'll be looking out for. We got 20 more days until that happens. So we'll see how the stock performs um, pre earnings and then post earnings. So let's see if we have any other significant news. Tesla stock rise. Tesla stock diehards don't give an inch. I feel like the investors are still pretty confident in Tesla. Like I said, it's all about the AI for Tesla. That's where they're moving. They're becoming a overall tech company versus just an automaker. And that could happen as early as 2026. So that's why it's like, you know, it's hard to it's hard to say. These stocks are moving. Yeah, so I don't see anything else. So let's go ahead and jump into my strategy today. So yesterday I did, before I talk about my strategy, yesterday I did enter a trade. Look at this. Look at this. Let's go to Tesla. Tesla. Now remember, so yesterday I talked about in the pre-market prep, I talked about that the market could, on the open, start out heavy, and retest the previous day low. But before that, before the market opened, Tesla spiked. I mean, it jumped all the way to 322. And this is what I said was less likely. But I didn't see any news at that point. And I meant to check to see if there was any news that dropped. Yeah, I can't find it right now. I didn't see any. I didn't look, but yeah, it spiked before the market opened, and then we continued towards we dropped towards to 304.28. That's that was option B that I was looking for. The A plus setup would be if we retested the previous day low. So coming until today, I'm not exactly sure what might happen. But I did enter into this trade. I didn't get in the trade down here, but I did get in. Let's see. I got in on a retest. Yeah, here. I got in here. So I was waiting for a pullback into this zone. And after, so this was a 1 minute order block, right? So we had these two pull down or down close candles. And so I was waiting for a retest back into this zone. And we did so here a few candles later. And so I entered the trade at the close of this candle and still testing out the lower delta contracts 0.20. Yeah, I think I got in one because the price had dropped so significantly. I had an order confirmation screen already up with my entry prepared. And I think the deltas were lower than 0.20. I think that contract was probably 0.16, 0.16. So, um, yeah, it was pretty low, but it moved. This move to 315, which is a $3 move. I was up a hundred and $156. So then let's see. What I did was oh hold on, let me oh I can't check it right now. Dang. I think oh you know what? I'm sorry. I might have gotten in. I might have gotten in at this point and then got in. I added a second contract a little bit later. So it was either here or here. I'm thinking I got in, if I remember correctly, I was waiting for this retest to this level, got in initially, and then I got in again at this point. So I had two contracts. Yeah, it was here because we retested this zone twice with this candle and this candle. And then I saw the this little doji candle. So I I was like, yeah, let me jump in again. Let me add to my position. So this was scaling into the position. So I wanted to test that out. And up as high as $156 for those two cons. And the point 17 or 16 delta at the time jumped to about 0.25. So, like I said, had two contracts scaled into the position that added that second contract. And then we had this spike. All right. And it just dropped. So I went ahead and I was like, okay, if we drop below this, if we close below this candle here, then I'm gonna just go ahead and get out because this was my initial entry. So we dropped and then we continued heavy. So I went ahead and dropped during this candle before it closed. Um, And I was like, I could stay in because I believe we might still hold this zone, because this was the order block that, like I said, I was hoping that we. So we had these two order blocks. This one was the one that I entered on, and then we had this order block. So this was the order block that I was hoping would hold, but I didn't want to give it too much room, and I exited the trade with a $36 gain. $36 gain. So it did recover and make a new high. As you can see here, we did make a new high, but then we just consolidated for the rest of the day. Um, so I didn't want to stay in that. I didn't like the price action, so I didn't re-enter the trade. I was prepped to re-enter the trade, but I decided not to because I didn't like the price action. And I was looking at, um, if we take a look at Thursday, Wednesday's price action for SPY and QQQ, you can see we didn't do too much. We didn't do too much at all. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna. We just kind of consolidated for the rest of the day. So I figured, hey, I'll see what happens tomorrow. And I went ahead and um, signed out and went to go see Jurassic Rebirth, the Rebirth, Jurassic Park, the Rebirth. And well, I'm not going to talk about the film because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. So, but anyway, yeah. So that was pretty cool. So I went in. It did, you know, offer an opportunity. If I had got in here at this point, then I would have stayed in even through this pullback because I'm at a good entry. But I didn't want to lose today. I just didn't feel like having a loss on the books today, especially for those lower delta contracts when I was up $156. This is what I talked about in my previous pre-market prep videos and other trade recap videos. Is like, if I reach, and at this point I'm at 100% because the contract was $75, right? And so I'm now at $150 before I added into my position. So that was 100% return on my investment. So you go to 100% and then to leave in a negative, that didn't make too much sense to me. So when I saw, and it doesn't give you too much time, right? This s- aggressive drop, you're losing money quick just like that. So if it continues, it could jump as just as I was up 150. This aggressive pull, drop could have you exit the trade at a negative $150 if this had continued. Obviously it slowed down and then reversed, but this isn't the ideal pullback, right? You have these smaller pullbacks, and then it gives you enough time to see where the direction is going versus this aggressive. This is a like from, let's see, the top of this is 315, the bottom is 312, so that's $3. And I was in that $3 move. That's why I was up. So that's why I say you can see how quickly I could be up 150 and then drop to $150. So there's other ways that you can preserve your profit. And this is what this is so ironic, right? Or funny, because ar- around this time is when I was just about to have made the mental decision to go in and add my stop loss systematically, right, through the system. And as soon as I had made that decision, boom. So it was too late for me to actually add it. So after I entered this trade and we were going up, and I was like, well, let me just go ahead and add my stop loss. So that way I could just go, you know, start to get ready, because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go see Jurassic Park today. So I didn't know it had opened today. And when I checked, I was like, oh, well, it's open today. I might as well go see it. So, and then I felt like, grabbing me something to eat. Yeah, I mean, fixing me something to eat, and then just, I was like, man, I'm gonna just go. I don't feel like sitting at the screen. So I was just about to enter the stop loss in the system, and then it dropped. So um, that's exactly what happened. So yeah, that was disappointing. I was hoping to, get closer to 322 since we spiked to this level in the pre-market, and I felt like we were going to do that. I was like, okay, we'll come back, retest the zone, and then come back and reclaim this level and possibly make it to 324. I I didn't really see that happening, but I wanted us to get, a little bit closer to 322.55, but we didn't. And so yeah, I'm very, 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 very careful now. That's why I said I went ahead and exited the trade at a gain, at a profit. So I didn't want to lose everything because that would have just been like, I'm not doing that. I've done that before in my previous trades. And psychologically it begins to take a toll, right? Because what if the next day you have you got 150 or 300 because it's like you're waiting, you're sitting through this pullback. And even though it doesn't break market structure, as you can see, it didn't break market structure. Breaking market structure would have been like below here. So we retested this zone, right? We broke above it, retested this key level. We V-shape recovered up to this point, and then had we came back, as long as we didn't break below this and close, like, because this was the pre-market low. This is what we're considering. So we retested this zone several times. You can see here, 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 and here. So as long as we didn't break below this key level, we were still maintaining market structure. And as you can see, overall on the higher time frame, this was yesterday, we were still in an uptrend, right? So this was Wednesday, we were still in an uptrend. So as long I could have held it, but that would have been, I would have had to sit through that loss, and I just don't want to do that. To me, what I through my observations and studies, I'm like, yo, it's best for me to go ahead and exit with a gain and then just wait to re-enter. And if the re-entry doesn't happen or present the setup that's ideal, A plus or A minus, then or just A, then I could just, wait until, you know, the next trade, or I mean the next day. So no biggie. But yeah, so that's what I decided to do. So coming until today, um, I'm not expecting too much, and I'm definitely going to enter my stop loss in systematically. I'll be looking for, hopefully, I mean, we're pretty high up now, so I it would be nice if we can come back and retest this zone. That's what I would love to see us come, you know, like an aggressive drop to this zone right here. Um 304 or 303, right? Reject off of this level for continuation up. And if we do, this is where I'd be looking to enter at this level here. So we break, come back, retest. So I check for the pullback to make sure we're not gonna continue heavy. So wait for the retest. Boom, at this key level, get in, or get in aggressively here and risk, have a low risk entry because my risk will be at this key level. So if we buy or step in enough, aggressively enough, then I can enter at this point or at this point a little bit later once we have the first pullback, to make sure that we're making a higher low versus a lower low, right? Because these are the lows, low, low, low. And then the first pullback would confirm, okay, maybe we're going to possibly reverse. This entry, your risk is down here at 303 or 304. Okay. So that's why I said that you have to sit through that um, greater potential loss. And I like to get in a little bit earlier here because that reduces, my loss. So if we do, it is more of an aggressive entry and the trend could, but my loss is still minimal. So that's why I'm like, I'd rather do that and possibly lose 250 or $500 than to sit through 1,000 or 1,500 while this drops and retests this zone again. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm looking for coming into today. Most likely, what's probably going to happen, depending on where we open, if we continue up, maybe if we continue upward towards the pre-market high, then I'd be looking for the reaction above, or above or at this key level. Do we reject or do we retest? So the B plus setup would be, at the open, we come back and we retest this zone. And hopefully, if buyers step in aggressively, then I'd be looking for, same scenario, right? Either get into an aggressive entry here at this level if buyers are stepping in aggressively, um, and my with a low risk, level here to 350, 314.82, or I can wait for the first pullback. So depends on the price action. I'm watching the price action carefully, and then I'm watching the direction of SPY and QQQ. Okay, so like I said, Tesla doesn't always follow. It doesn't follow it 100%, but it does typically do it, often enough, 85, 90% of the time. So that's what I'll be looking for coming until today. Now, it is possible for at the open for Tesla to continue like and show relative strength right out the open, like it did before. What was that? On Monday. Obviously we came back down and dropped, but yeah, see, this is what I like to see. I like to see right at the open we come down and we retest the previous day low. Same way here, we eventually retested that previous day low, because that's, you can see it gives you more room for you to capture those gains right to the next key level. And that's why I said I like to take those aggressive entries here at this level, um, for possible continuation to the upside. Same thing here. We did retest the pre-market low here, and then that was a significant run. So roughly what, around 293. Yeah, 12 $12. Same thing here. Retest this key zone like yesterday. So that's what I like to see. I like to see us come back down and retest this zone here, but maybe that won't happen today. Like I said, it is a shorter trading session today, so the market is expected to close around, I think it's 12 or 1. Let's see what time the market closes. So yeah, 12 p.m. for me, 1 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, that's what I'll be looking for coming until today. So we do have some red folder news coming in at 7:30. Let me see if there's any. I don't see any new news. Yeah, this is crazy. Like that high was ridiculous, man. My mentor made 100K on this high, man. That was crazy. That was crazy. Oh no, no, no. It was this one in May. It was this jump. Wow, that was crazy. Dang, 500,000 worth of Tesla shares and has added to his exposure during this year's sell-off. His family members are devout fans of the brand. I'm not a car junkie, but it's very safe, and I think it's one of the best car experiences. See, this is what I said. Like you can see when those drops happen like that, it's the institutional sell off of some sort. So it's like I like to keep an eye out on that. Same thing when you have those aggressive moves to the upside. Same thing. Um, so we got the Mag 7. Let's see. So many of whom say they made large sums buying and holding the shares through their ups and downs. Among the Magnificent Seven large stock, Tesla has the largest proportion of investors lumped into other, in fact, set data, a residual category. Tesla shares were the most actively traded on the IBKR platform for the 5-day trading period. Ended Monday with 200 buy orders, wildly outpacing sales. See, this is what I'm saying. Like the investors, but many Wall Street analysts warn that Tesla shares are worth less than their lofty price indicates. That's the thing. Value is what is that? What is that word? I can't think of that word. I can't think of it. But yeah, they believe it's around 258, 18% below its current level. Tesla's trading at roughly 132 times the company's expected earnings over the past 12 months. Being a fan of a company that trades at high multiples of its earning poses risk, but many say they don't mind for now. I will be buying every big red day, a user wrote on X. Yeah, because look, you can see. All right, so we look at what Tesla's doing now. So that's what I said. Like in the open, this thing could skyrocket I mean, it just does that. And then you could take profit. Once it has these significant jumps, then you could just take profit. So if you're in at when we have these significant drops, like you get this drop, you buy at the dip, you buy at the low. So it's like when it drops to these lows, then you buy because then you could take profit when it jumps up again. So I didn't hold any swing trades Tuesday. I started to but just different things happened throughout the day, and so I just decided to just hold off. But because I never been in, and I'm trying to focus primarily on day trading, and I'm adding to my skill set swing trades, so I'm looking at how to strategize my swing trades, because I have been testing those, but I did take a bunch of L's on my swing trade. So because I didn't set a stop loss, and they say to size for zero when you enter into those. So now I'm looking at, well, I'm not going to size for zero if I can help it. I'm going to add a stop loss systematically at a certain percentage. Like maybe I'll give it more percentage. So during a day trade is 1 to 3, possibly 4% max. Maybe a swing trade, I'll do 7 to 10%, and then exit the position if it drops, to below that. So let's take a look at the red folder news results, and then I'll call it a day. Okay, so not too bad. So you can see we have some more red folder news at 9, but you can see how Tesla's responding, right? So looks like we're going to reclaim 320 possibly coming into the open. So that's it for me today. I'm going to call it here, and I'll see you guys Monday. I'm out. Happy holidays.